morning, Sabahul Hiri, buongiorno, bon dia. Gràcies per la vostra presència, alcaldes i alcaldesses, en aquesta sessió que organitzem en ocasió
organized for the 25th anniversary of the Congress of Barcelona, the 25 cities of the Euro-Mediterranean area. It is a pleasure to have with us the mayors of the main cities around the Mediterranean, and I want to especially thank the collaboration of the Town Council of Barcelona with this initiative, the mayor also of Barcelona, Ada Colau, and the different institutions that are part of this event, such as CIDOB, IEMED, the Mediterranean Network of Cities, and ISPI. It is a pleasure to have the mayors of Amman, İzmir, Tunis, and Florence among us. We need to excuse the lack of the presence of the Marseille mayor because of a last-minute problem who couldn't then join us. We are now celebrating the 25 years since the process of Barcelona to promote the relationship between the countries around the Mediterranean. This was meant to be a partnership, not a cooperation program, but rather a dialogue and common help and solutions and prioritization of those solutions among everybody in order to reach the best solutions for the different shores of the Mediterranean. What is worrying us now is how to renew this partnership precisely with the aim of it becoming more inclusive and based on the participation and cooperation of those actors that go beyond the cities. The cities precisely have the possibility of becoming and assuming this role for cooperating, also using a multi-level network and including also the civil society. So if we want to renew what the cooperation around the Mediterranean means, we need to count on cities as dialogue platform city, but not just what comes out of those Euro-Mediterranean relationships. So within this context, the program for global cities organized by the Barcelona Center for International Affairs, and with its support, we want to collaborate and continue to do so, and to renew this vocation, this aspect of the Mediterranean. A lot of resources will be available on the website that has been specially dedicated to this 25th anniversary of the process of the Barcelona process. Also, I'm therefore asking all of those people present to go and see and browse around the website and to see what we have available to renew the relationships around the Mediterranean. It is a pleasure to have organized this session with the Italian Institute for International Political Studies, especially with the presence of Paolo Magri, the Executive Vice President of the Italian Institute for International Political Studies.
Thank you. Thank you, Paul. Distinguished guest, I'm extremely pleased to open this conference with my colleague and friend, Paul Morillas, and I'm glad to say hello to the mayor of Barcelona, Ada, buongiorno, ben trovata. We met at the Expo in 2015 when you had just been elected mayor, and we had the chance I had the chance to test your wonderful Italian at that time. Why CIDOB and ISPI together? Why CIDOB and ISPI together? Today, in the framework of the Rome Med conference, this session will be broadcasted also to the audience at the Rome Med conference, the 6th edition of the conference on the Mediterranean promoted by ISPI and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Rome Med dialogues are based on 4 main pillars: prosperity, migration, security, and civil society and culture. None of them can leave aside the issue of cities and how to make them inclusive, safe, resilient, and sustainable. This is even more true after the spread of coronavirus. Global cities do matter since we need to shape a new urban life after COVID, imagine new ways of working and living, heal sick people and prevent the spread of the virus, manage public spaces, fight climate change and social inequalities, integrate foreign communities. Mayors are often seen as pragmatic politicians, and pragmatism together with vision is what we need to foster a more sustainable region beyond and on top of conflicts and pandemics which are around us. I'll now give the floor back to Paul Morillas, who will moderate the discussion. Paul.
Thank you very much, Paolo. Grazie mille. It's a pleasure to jointly co-organize this initiative. Let me give the floor immediately to our mayor, Alcaldessa Colau. Tens la paraula.
Gracias. Good morning. Bonjour.
Thank you.
To
me, it is also a great pleasure to be able to share this session, this gathering with all of you, mayors of very important cities around the Mediterranean area. I'd like to really welcome you physically as the host. It's not possible this year, but I do hope that this is going to be feasible soon and that we'll be able to hug ourselves as we like doing in the Mediterranean. We always say that Barcelona is a deeply Mediterranean city, among other things, because we are very proud to have an identity based on diversity, a diversity that is the sum up of the summary of the addition of lots of different aspects that make us very resilient. So it's not a wonder that 25 years ago, it was in this city precisely where we decided to create an effort of cooperation towards peace and stability around the Mediterranean. That was the beginning of what's been called the Barcelona process. If we look back and we look at our present time, we could be pessimistic. After 25 years, the region has undergone very important conflicts and still undergoes serious conflicts as the thousands of people losing their livelihood from trying to go from one shore of the Mediterranean to the other. So if one decides to become a mayor, it's because at core he or she is optimistic, and because we don't want to say no to a future and to prosperity for our children. So Barcelona wants to play a role in the future for the Mediterranean because we feel very strongly linked to this Mediterranean reality. And also we think this is full of opportunities. We are sharing this feeling that bring us closer. And also we have to say that we're there to provide support, especially with the recent explosion in Beirut. Also, very briefly, and to start this session, I'd like to underline 5 pillars that will be the basis of the future of the region. First one is the Mediterranean has to be welcoming, and this is what I'm saying. Human mobility and its management is now part of the Mediterranean agenda, and the decisions to deal with this will be the basis for the future of the region. From Europe or within Europe, unfortunately, up till now, this reality has only been approached from the safety and security policies and the borders. So this has provoked insecurity and a breach of human rights, and also a failure, because we can't say that good management or governance is being taking care of mobility. Barcelona, as we've said many times, we believe we need to fulfill the international conventions to manage mobility and migration of people in a much safer way, for example, by providing safe harbors around the Mediterranean, like we've done. And I believe the different Mediterranean regions need to work to build bridges, connecting bridges, so that the Mediterranean space is a safe area and people can save their own lives. A second pillar I'm proposing is to have a Mediterranean area committed to our planet. Right now, we're only dealing with the COVID pandemic, but there are times after post-COVID, and that's the climate change emergency, and the experts are saying that the Mediterranean is going to be by 20% deeply affected by these climate circumstances. Therefore, it is obvious that we need to work in a much more active and coordinated manner to deal with this climate emergency, which in turn will provoke massive or en masse human displacement and migration movements. I believe that we can bring specific and practical solutions, also innovative ones, to deal with climate change. For example, we have the European Pact of Mayors to deal with climate and energies, to hold a debate between the northern and southern shore, and by providing local solutions, or we can do it through the Barcelona Convention to be working with the coast that's providing solutions and in coordination with the United Nations in order to protect our environment. We need to carry on and follow this line, because I want to insist the cities is the biggest responsible entity for the emission of damaging gases. Another pillar it would be equality that we want to share. The Mediterranean is one of the north-south borders that suffers from the most inequalities, so we need to address this. And these inequalities are the source to many problems that are part of our region. Therefore, we need to revert these inequalities that need to do with poverty, but also with the women's inequalities. And so we need to work on female or women-sided policies. A fourth pillar to propose and suggest is to have a Mediterranean area full of opportunities, especially arising from the crisis situation caused, of course, by COVID-19, but that, of course, has hit the economic model of Mediterranean cities, also affecting services in which tourism is of huge importance. So we need to share and make this crisis become an opportunity. We wouldn't want it just to sound like a typical topic, but this should help us to promote this help to not just have a more sustainable and safer tourism, because the en masse tourism, of course, was a non-sustainable model, but also to diversity our different cities' economies, so that those economies become greener. Also, my last pillar is to have communicated online and network Mediterranean. The agreements under the auspices of the United Nations relate to the Mediterranean. If we want to fulfill and comply with them, this has to occur at the cities. Otherwise, we won't have a 2030 agenda made possible. Barcelona has different networks like Metropolis or INCT that for decades have been working to reach those goals, and we are proud as a city to be the support to these networks and to aim at fulfilling these aims. Therefore, the cities have the capacity in a very relevant manner to approach those goals, and So if we have the capacity, this means we also have the responsibility to not only manage very complex situations in the cities, but we need to be a role model for cooperation. Barcelona, for all this time, has played and is playing a very important role to provide an answer to those challenges. And by doing so, we want to continue being a Mediterranean capital cities and always being the role model for the actors and the civil society of the region. So for this region to become more prosperous, also more women-related and more municipality-based, we are offering here with our cooperation. Thank you so much, Mayor, not just for your introductory remarks, but also for your offer of support that you've just explained to us, to not only us, the organizers, but also to the next ones to speak, to take the floor, and who will be explaining their perspective on different areas of the Mediterranean.
Panelists. I will move first to Yousef Shawarbeh, who is the mayor of Amman. And we all know that Amman has been one of the highest migrant populations in the Mediterranean, as Mayor Colau was expressing before. Multiple cases of scales of government, from the municipal level to the regional and the national level, contribute to the city's migration governance, but also other actors, including civil society actors and international aid organizations. Dear Mayor, I would like to ask you, how is cooperation and coordination ensured on migration issues with such a complex structure? And what good lessons learned can we take from the experience of Amman? Mayor, the floor is
yours. Good afternoon to you all. Good afternoon, Paul, and I would like to greet you all, the mayor of Barcelona. We are here meeting to embody the very genuine partnership across the Mediterranean. Yes, Amman is the economic and political capital of Jordan. Certainly, we have gained extensive experience over 70 years in dealing with migration issues, with refugees. Migration waves and migratory flows started to happen since 1948. Jordan's population amounts to 10 million inhabitants, and the refugees, they amount to 4 million refugees. And you can see that there is also population increase, and the number of refugees and migrants increase also. So there is a population boom in Amman and in Jordan as a whole, and this is caused by the migratory flows. The municipality of Amman is very strategically, geographically located, and it is sending a very good message to all other cities, because it sets a very good example as a city of peace and coexistence and cohabitation. But still there are so many pressures exerted on the municipality, pressure on infrastructure and so on. But still we do understand the causes that drove the refugees to migrate to Jordan and Amman in particular. But when they take the decision to migrate to Europe and so on, perhaps most of the migratory flows are driven by some economic reasons. That's why we deal with the migration in an exceptional way. In Jordan, the government of Jordan has developed a response action plan to address the migration crisis.
عدد اللاجئين السوريين حوالي 1,300,000
refugee crisis. So Syrian refugees amount to 1 million, almost 1 million refugees in Jordan, in addition to refugees coming from other nationalities, other places in the world, and they are coming from the various Arab countries, neighboring countries basically. So the response action plan lasts over 3 years, and it was developed to help all stakeholders to address the migration and the burden, and also to allocate some budget to help those communities. And sorry, we lost the mayor of Amman. And to also provide them with the necessary services. As you can see, there is a need for cooperation between the municipality and the government, the central government of Jordan, and also with the municipality and the other international actors and international organizations. So this response action plan is comprehensive and integrated. So this response action plan that was developed in the sense when the budget has to be allocated to the government and the ministries, and then referred to the municipalities and the local government. So all of the budgeting takes place under the banner of the government of Jordan. But again, the municipalities can conclude some partnerships and develop some joint programs with other international stakeholders, programs of integration, of psychological support, or job opportunities for refugees, because we do firmly believe that the migration and refugees are an asset and an opportunity available to the country, the host country and the host community. That's why we are sending very clear messages to the international players to develop very clear programs to take into account the host population along with the refugees. So this is what we are attempting to achieve. So over to you, back to you, Paul. Thank you very much.
Certainly the case for your city. And some people, of course, see that as an asset, as we should all see it. But could you underline for us what are precisely the benefits and strengths of these highly diverse cities, and how can local authorities contribute to harness the positive aspects of diversity? Mayor Soyer, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much. First of all, I would like to salute Colau, our organizer and host of this event. And I would also like to thank all the Mediterranean mayors for their participation. In İzmir, we know the importance of diversity in nature. That's one of the main forces making the ecological systems function. When it comes to our societies, diversity plays a very similar role. It creates richness, enables us to progress, and ensures the well-functioning of social and financial ecosystems. That's why in İzmir, we promote and nurture biological and social diversity. Fortunately, diversity historically exists in the Mediterranean. As the history of Izmir shows us, multi-ethnic, religiously diverse, and multilingual periods of the city have offered more opportunity and prosperity to its people. Different cultures accomplished to live together in harmony and prosper by exchanging and inspiring each other. This is an experience which can help the world to overcome today's polarization, segregation, and marginalization. Municipalities need to perceive diversity as a source of prosperity when they form their policies. If they do so, and if they design their services to promote diversity, they can put forward a governance that includes the needs and talents of each and every person in their city. With this vision, Izmir wanted to contribute to the city-level international collaborations on making cities more inclusive. To this end, Izmir chaired the U20 task force entitled Inclusive and Prosperous Communities. We prepared 5 papers examining best practices and proposed future urban policies to the leaders of G20 countries. We gave them the message that in order to increase the well-being and prosperity, we must focus on amplifying the voices of every person in the city. Today's complex crisis can only be resolved through inclusive collective wisdom and action. Today, migration and urbanization are defining features of local realities in Mediterranean countries once again. Cities are places where people come together to live, work, and find opportunities. Increasing urbanization and migratory flows have made our cities hubs of diversity and innovation. We need to aim to address the gap between potential opportunities and challenges. We need to work on concretely on these issues. That's why, in collaboration with Montreal Municipality, we will host the International Mayors Summit on Living Together. By working together, we want to create solutions for complex challenges rising from social inclusion. Migration will be on the top of the priority lists that will work in Izmir Summit. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, dear Mayor, for your words. You underline a very important aspect, which is diversity in cities and trying to make the best out of this diversity. I will now immediately move to the mayor of Tunis, Souad Abderrahim, to ask about something that is also very present in the mind of many municipal governments in both shores of the Mediterranean, and that is the mechanisms that are being promoted, that have been promoted to enhance citizen participation. I would like to ask the mayor to give us some concrete examples on how citizen engagement has resulted in the improvement of conditions of governance at the local level, and more particularly also in the field of socio-economic development and improvement. So, Mayor Abderrahim, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Paul. First of all, I would like to extend my thanks to my colleague, the mayor of Barcelona, for the very kind invitation to take part in this dialogue. This dialogue comes as part of the Union for the Mediterranean, and our dialogue and cooperation is a very clear embodiment of our cooperation. I also would like to welcome all all other mayors, the mayor of Amman, Florence, Marseille, and other mayors. And this online meeting, despite COVID-19, the municipalities have insisted to meet, even to e-meet, to exchange ideas for the Mediterranean, for empowering our cities. Certainly, partnerships and cooperation between the various stakeholders and cities will be only beneficial for everyone, especially economic benefits. That's why we need to cooperate with all stakeholders, with citizens, because they are key partners in order to make the governance sustainable and good. Certainly, cities are a space for listening, for action. A good municipality is one that is listening carefully to its citizens and residents, and also to civil society organizations, because they are key partners in creating this safe environment and safe space. That's why we need to engage citizens in any action or decision we take, and we have a break with the top-down policy, and we need to start from the grassroots. The grassroots and participatory process is enshrined in our 2014 constitution, enhancing local government, and the municipalities and even the central government are not only called upon, are required to listen to citizens, and the municipal council is one that has to build bridges and channels towards the citizens and the grassroots, and there has to be coordination between the municipal councils and municipality, and we need to have a list of the associations that we are dealing with, and we need to accept their proposals, and we have to be very proactive, and especially during pandemics and problems. Civil society organizations have to be mobilized, and they have helped us to achieve some very good results, such as the parity in elections, and the parity allowed women to be very well represented in decision-making circles. In addition, so thanks to the pressure exerted by the civil society organizations, we could achieve this resounding success, having places for women and young people in decision-making circles. The experience has been also genuine and fantastic in facing the challenges of COVID-19. All of the citizens, civil society organizations, they have all mobilized their efforts to provide some support to the poor, to the needy, to the sick, in addition to the foreigners, foreign nationals who are based in Tunis, in addition to the assistance that is provided to the poor neighborhoods to restructure and upgrade the very marginalized corners and streets and neighborhoods. So we need during this COVID-19 to have a space within the neighborhood for people to take some breath within the neighborhood without needing to go long distances to enjoy a green space, for example, or a playground. We also launched campaigns in schools, and civil society organizations were very active. They helped us, such as Nida center. It is a call center, and it is connected with the medical center at the Ministry of Public Health. We have received so many calls and help calls, and we contributed to finding solutions to those people in distress. And so many those centers and the municipality have been working 24 hours a day to receive calls and so on. We do firmly believe in participation. We say yes for these partnerships for safe, integrated cities respecting each other. Over to you, Paolo. Thank you.
Sorry, Shukran, thank you very much. Apologies for those who are experiencing trouble with the sound every now and then. This is a major challenge with so many languages and online. So apologies if the sound isn't clear, but thank you very much, Mayor, for your views. I will now immediately move to the Mayor of Florence, Buongiorno, Dario Nardella, to ask about the role of your city also in chairing and leading Eurocities today, the leading network of European cities. And of course, one of the objectives is how to make cooperation and relations between the different areas of the Mediterranean, different cities of the Mediterranean reality through Eurocities, through the network of Eurocities. Could you give us some concrete examples on the initiatives that you are taking forward to have Eurocities more engaged into anything related to Euro-Mediterranean relations? Thank you very much, Mayor. The floor is yours.
So good morning to everybody, buongiorno. First of all, I would like to thank my friend, colleague, in this important meeting, and a special greeting to the colleague Souad Abderrahim, Mayor of Tunis, with whom we have a long and deep friendship. So as a community of more than 119 cities all over Europe, I think that Eurocities can give a positive contribution to Euro-Mediterranean relations, also thanks to its wide network of local governmental city committed to deal with issues of common interest in this regional area. I think Eurocities counts numerous important city members and associate partners in the Eastern and the Balkan area, and also Turkey, that are actively engaged in many thematic groups, and actually an increasing interest has been shown from several Turkish cities that would like to join the network. I can affirm that Eurocities already relies on very positive relations with other city networks like, for example, USLG or Euromed and the Metropolis, with a long history, wide experience and a broad organization structure. The union between cities and local governments can further strengthen their position to make themselves be heard on a regional, national and international level, and play a key role in the global decision-making processes. And I think that as the city mayors and the leaders of local governments, we can really make the difference and enhance cooperation and respect for people and human rights. Because cities and local governments are more pragmatic, solution-oriented, and, if you want, less ideological, as Benjamin Barber wrote in his book that you remember, I think, If Mayors Ruled the World. So cities are not autonomous territorial units, and with joint efforts, with multi-level governance, important common target can be reached in various thematic issues impacting on human life and environment, like, for instance, global warming reduction or sustainable urban development, promotion of energetic efficiency and use of renewable energy sources and digital transition, etc. The presence in the network of cities like Barcelona, of course, or Italian cities like Palermo, Genova, Venice, or for French, Toulouse, Nice, Bordeaux, Marseille, and many others, can directly bring their specific approach and contribution to tackle issues related to the Mediterranean area, and the regularly work we are doing with universities and institutes in the Mediterranean countries on themes related to urban challenges such as climate neutrality can reinforce the engagement in Euro-Mediterranean relations. What we are facing in the biggest challenge of our century, cities are a political and institutional pillar to build a new Europe, and the Mediterranean cities are the core of this new vision of Europe. I believe that together we can really work to make this a real opportunity for change. As a mayor of Florence, I would like to remember that one of my predecessors, mayors, Giorgio Lapira, organized in the middle of the 19th century several important meetings about Mediterranean relations, calling here in Florence all the mayors of best cities on in the Mediterranean area, because he believed every time on diplomatic function of cities. And today, this diplomatic vocation, diplomatic function is very important. I must say that as mayors of cities, head of municipal governments, and the coordinators of the metropolitan areas, we have in Italy frequently spoken out loud to make clear our position and to present to our central government local instances and the most urgent measures to adopt at local level, following, for example, the global pandemic of COVID-19. The health emergency that has so deeply impacted on our lives greatly involves us both as citizens and as political leaders and public institutions. And we are highly committed to tackle the consequences of an unprecedented crisis by implementing effective policies with a high economic and social impact. And Italian city mayors are so deeply involved because of their proximity to citizens and communities, and we are close to people as the other mayors, to families, enterprises, working people, and we know well their actual suffering and the needs. As also stated by OECD, subnational governments, regions and municipalities are at the front line of the crisis management and recovery. And finally, in Italy, the central government has increasingly listened to the mayors' voices who requested specific measures for their territories. with the adoption of a decrease, the Decreto Rilancio, many funds have been allocated at local level for local governments' needs. And in the first phase of the crisis at municipal level, we decided together to take prompt action and adopt effective measures to help people by introducing, for example, food solidarity measures such as food vouchers and the food parcels distributed by no-profit organizations. And we tried in this way to give immediate relief to citizens who were experiencing a time of great difficulties in this emergency. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you very much for this word. You also covered something that we wanted to discuss and address, which is precisely the role that cities have played in the delivery of services, of basic services, and the protection of rights, and the health situation that has been generated by COVID-19, which is precisely a global phenomena proving how cities are at the forefront of delivering and also receiving most pressure when it comes to satisfying the most urgent needs of the population. And sometimes this contrasts with the capacity that cities and local governments have in shaping the policies and the politics of major issues that are discussed at the national level, but also at the international one. And I would dare to say that this gap precisely that that exists between the local and the global level, and it's mostly felt when crises such as coronavirus appear. And of course, we are all aware that it is very necessary to find solutions to that gap, that increasing gap. But we are also aware that the institutional developments and the institutional frameworks in which we operate sometimes make it very difficult. So I think that is the major challenge for all of us gathering today in this conference. We are unfortunately heading towards the end of the session, because I know that a few of you mayors have to leave sharp at 1 p.m. So unless there is 30 seconds reaction that any of you would like to make, I will need to give the floor for our closing remarks to our director of the Global Cities Program at CIDOB. But before doing that, is there what in English say a two-finger contribution that any of you would like to make? But I would really ask you to be very, very short.
What?
Very short, please, from Tunis.
شكرا. حبيت نركز في نهاية هذا
like to insist towards the end of the meeting on the role of municipalities, because they are very close, the closer to the people, and Dario has put it rightly, because the municipalities are at the forefront of people, and they are required to provide the services, and because we do believe in partnerships, we would like the municipalities to contribute to the development of public policies, and they need to be engaged, and they need to be taken into account in the central decision-making circles, and we need to think very seriously in developing or launching a network of municipalities so that we can help each other and we can come up with creative and more efficient solutions for the many challenges that we are facing. And we can, because municipalities, they have been working in providing assistance, relief to people in this distress, and escort the visitors, the residents, and the refugees. So this is what I wanted to say. I would like to greet and thank all of the mayors for their efforts, because they have played a key role in countering and fighting against the widespread of COVID-19. They have launched multiple campaigns for the people and to help people work online and provide services online. So greetings and thanks to all my colleagues, the mayors, for what they have been doing. And I would like to wish you all success again and to see you doing great jobs.
Which was to thank all mayors participating in this session, in this roundtable on the 25 years after the Barcelona process, cities in the Euro-Mediterranean partnership. I'm afraid I will have to close here. The different and very interesting contributions provided from many corners of the Mediterranean. It's been a challenge, a technical challenge to organize this. I thank you for your patience when the sound has not been excellent, but I am sure that and I can ensure that your voice has been heard and your messages have been conveyed. So thank you very much to all mayors participating, and particularly to Ada Colau. Muchísimas gracias. I will now give the floor to Agustí Fernández de Losada, the director of the Global Cities Program, for closing this session. Agustí, the floor is yours.
Moltes gràcies, Pol. Bueno, jo em sumo als agraïments a les alcaldesses, als alcaldes participants
the presence of the mayors being part of this meeting online. As Paul said, it has been quite a challenge technically, and the commitment of cities within the Mediterranean, we can see have a very important role to play, especially with climate change. I think that with today's debate, we can say that many regions around the Mediterranean are sharing this challenge. So we can say it is very urgent to deal with inequalities, migration around the Mediterranean, also to have devices to protect rights, human rights, around sustainability. I think it is also vital to empower the involvement of citizenship and to have citizenship in an organized manner around municipalities. Cities are a welcoming space, an opportunity space, but also a space full of contradictions, of getting rid of people, removing people. And we always need to base our efforts around cooperation. All of this is, of course, being reinforced through cooperation. Municipalities and regions need to be reinforced, need the support. And now, 25 years later, after the Barcelona process startup, we need to review what state we are at. You can please visit our website in order to reflect around this, or to reflect on this Euro-Mediterranean Association.
Come from the think tanks in Euro-Mediterranean relations. Thank you very much. Have a good day.
Bye-bye. Thank you very much.